Yeah, we're here at Sky Harbor Airport today because the TSA is kind of alerting travelers about taking guns or trying to get guns onto an airplane. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Nico Melendez is here with the TSA. He's been kind of showing us this unbelievable stuff that has been seized here at the airport. Nico, why are you guys trying to get this word out? What is the problem?
Well, over the course of the last couple of years, we've seen an increase in the number of guns we're finding at airports, and including Sky Harbor. Just in 2014 through December 1st, we have found about 2,000 guns at airports across the country. About 80 of those were just here at Sky Harbor. And if you do the math, 5% of all guns found at airports were found here at Sky Harbor.
And these are people who are trying to get them through the line here behind us, through the security checkpoint.
They're bringing them through the security checkpoint, which guns are never going to be allowed through the security checkpoint, but there's a proper way to do it. I mean, we have, this is what a gun looks like in our x-ray machine. Just somebody threw it in their carry-on bag.
Pretty obvious when you see
yeah,
it.
it's like, yeah, duh. But here's another one, and this is...
Is that a rifle?
It is. There's golf clubs, so it's somebody's golf bag, and they stuck their rifle in the golf bag. Not only is that not allowed, it's not even safe, because if it's loaded and, the bag gets dropped or something like that, it could go off. And we've had situations where guns have gone off at ticket counters or through the baggage process in connections. It's just not safe. So there's a proper way to carry a weapon.
Are these people forgetting that these guns are in, say, their golf bag or their bag, or are they consciously thinking that it's okay?
Well, at the security checkpoint, almost every time we find a gun, the passenger says, "Oh, I forgot it was in my bag." Well, my question is, how could you forget where your gun is? But the rifle in this situation, the passenger stuck it in there purposely, thinking that they could just check their rifle in their golf bag. But they can't, because there's a right way and there's a safe way.
So what is the right way and the safe way? Let's see it.
I went out to the local sporting goods store last night and picked up this case. It cost me about $10. It's just a plastic, hard-sided case. And you take your weapon. This is a demo, obviously, but you make sure it's unloaded, and you put your weapon in your case. If you have ammunition, stick the ammunition in there as well. Put it in the original box that the ammunition came in, and then you close it. You close the box, and you take a padlock like this, and you put it through, and you lock it, and you're done. And you present it to the airline, declare it to the airline, let them know what you have. They might have you open it, take a look at it to make sure it's unloaded. But this is the proper way to carry a weapon.
Does it have to be in a box locked like this, or could you put it in, say, like just your duffel bag and stick it in there?
No, it has to be in the proper carrying case, which is a hard-sided lockable case. So it has to be hard, and it has to be lockable.
And you have to declare it when you...
And you have to tell the airline that you have it. So it's pretty simple, and for $10, it cost me $10 for the box, $3 for the lock. So, in some places you're traveling with a weapon, it's really important that passengers check the gun laws in the states that they're traveling to, because if you're permitted in Arizona, do you need to be permitted in New York if you're traveling with a weapon? Because the gun laws are different. New York, California, we have different gun laws. So it's really incumbent on the passenger to do their research when they're traveling with their weapon.
So if someone doesn't properly store their gun, or even if they try to get it through here at the security checkpoint and carry it on, does the gun get seized? Is that how it works?
If we find the gun here at the security checkpoint, if TSA finds the gun, we'll call the police department. The police department, it's their job to enforce the law. So what they do, most cases in Phoenix, what I've seen is the police will hold the gun for you, or they will have you take your gun out to your car, give it to a loved one seeing you up. But I have seen airports in California, for instance, if you're carrying a gun and we find the gun in your backpack, you're going to get arrested for carrying a firearm into a security checkpoint. So it really depends on what the jurisdiction is. But that's why it's so important for passengers to know where their weapons are, and if they really want to travel with their weapon, and we know they go on hunting trips, and we had a situation a couple years ago where a gentleman was left a firearm by his dad who had recently died, and we found it. He ended up getting arrested at the airport because he was carrying this firearm. And what a tragic way to, in that situation, he didn't know. So it's basic research, and it's a basic process.
If someone tries to check it in, not in that proper carrying case, does the gun get seized in that situation too? Same thing as here?
Right. Well, TSA will never seize a gun. We will always call law enforcement if we find a gun, because they need to identify who the owner is, because it has to be in the proper carrying case. What the airlines, what the police department end up doing with the gun in the check bag, it's really up to them. Our job is just to make sure that the safety element is addressed, because we've seen guns go off in ticket counters and hit people. It's really about safety.
You mentioned 80 here at Sky Harbor, which is 5%, which is kind of a lot considering how big this country is and how many airports there are. Is this on the rise?
It is. Just in the last 10 years, we've seen the number about double or triple in some cases. I remember back in 2003, 2004, we averaged about 2 guns a day nationwide. Now we're averaging about 6.1, 6.2 guns every day. So it is on the rise.
Is there any explanation for it? Do you think it's just forgetfulness?
It is forgetfulness. I don't know if there are more guns out there, or people just aren't thinking more, or more people feel the need to travel with a weapon. I don't know. But last year was a record year, and we had 1,815 guns the whole year. We still have 2 weeks of this year, and we're already over 2,000. So the numbers are going up, and we're asking passengers for help.
Well, as you know, it's not just guns, and I know you
Yeah,
brought some
all
of
this other
some of the extras here. So what kind of stuff did you bring out here? And then this is all seized here at Sky Harbor or at
This
other
is all
airports?
from Sky Harbor just in the last couple of days. These are just regular old prohibited items. And what I always find ironic about all this stuff is if a passenger really wanted to travel with their pink-handled hammer, they could put it in their check bag and pick it up on the other side. But it's in their carry-on.
I mean, we're talking things like
I don't
stuff
even
that you
know what
wouldn't
that
think of. It's a
Right,
fine
that-
kind of
that
hammer.
checker
We've got
a gardening
shears,
trowel,
gardening shears,
wire cutters, a
wine
knife.
opener.
This is I mean, look at that knife. That's, or this, you see a lot of these. I don't know, is there some kind of thing in America where throwing knives is a fun hobby? But we found these two just a couple of days ago, and I've seen situations where we've had 5 or 6 throwing knives in one case.
Wow.
And it's not that these people necessarily have an intent to do harm, but they're not allowed.
And these items get seized, correct?
Yeah,
Well, they get taken by the TSA. You can
there's-
pick them up
there-
when you come back,
there's
right?
no, they can't pick them up.
Oh, they can't?
There's technicalities. Passengers can take them to their car. If we find this stuff, you can take it to your car, go mail it to yourself, whatever, put it in your check bag. But most passengers just want to get rid of it and get onto their flight, so they just leave it with us.
I find the sledgehammer quite interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, if something's
know?
going to set off the security alarm, I think that might be it.
Yeah, right. I mean, we would find this in. It's funny. I was looking at some stuff at one of the airports recently, and I found a bunch of 10-pound dumbbells. Somebody was traveling. When I travel, I try to travel as light as possible. To get the lightest laptop and, I don't know, 3-pound sledgehammer in your carry-on. It's
Wherever you're going, you might be able to pick one up for like $10 at the hardware store, right?
It's just what a waste.
You have this box here, which is more stuff.
Yeah, it's just more. There's another knife and gardening, wire cutters. I don't know what that is. Screwdrivers.
I think these are pretty common. I mean,
Pocket knives.
so many people have these on their keychains.
Yeah, we find that over the 13 years of being with TSA, I have not seen the number of pocket knives decrease. The Swiss Army has done quite the job, but they're still not allowed, and we still find them.
Steak knife, just in case the airplane serves your meal, maybe?
Steak knives, cutting knives. Hey, this is interesting. I get questions a lot about corkscrews, because corkscrews are actually allowed on planes. But the problem we have with some corkscrews is the knife that comes with it. So if you have a corkscrew and it doesn't have a knife, you'd be fine. Just don't bring the corkscrews with the knife. Oh, half of a nunchuck.
Oh, is that what that is?
That's
I was
what it
wondering
looks
what
like.
it was.
And that's heavy too.
That is heavy.
It's
Are you ever allowed to pick this stuff up once you surrender it at the checkpoint?
No, we dispose of it. In most cases, it's picked up and gotten rid of before you ever come back from your trip. In big airports like Sky Harbor or LA, we find so much of the stuff we try to get rid of it every week because we just can't accumulate this much stuff. But it's here's
these. Those are kind of interesting
these are
to
one
me.
of my favorites. Yeah, this has been a big issue this year. They're called credit card knives because they're as thin as a credit card, and a lot of people just carry them in their wallets. And if I could get this open,
There you go. It slides.
yeah, it's. You find these all over the place, and
That knife. That's not a small knife. That's a pretty sizable blade.
yeah, if you take the throwing knife, it's almost similar to the throwing knife in size. So we've seen a lot of these this year. I don't know if it's the new hip thing to give these away at conventions or something, but we've seen a lot of these. A real increase in the number of credit card knives, and it's a big problem.
When something like that comes through, when you get a kind of a new item, I'm assuming the whole agency is on board. and you guys communicate with each other about what to look for.
Without
Giving too much
sure.
of your procedure
Well,
away. I mean, it's not like something just because it's new means can sneak
Well,
by.
yeah, it's a great question because if we start seeing a trend, we certainly provide training to the entire workforce, but we'll also provide information to passengers because we have a blog. It's a TSA blog on our website, and if you go on our website and search credit card knives, you'll find a blog post about credit card knives because we try to tell passengers, hey, this is something we're finding a lot of. They're not allowed, so take a look. But I encourage passengers, they can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on our blog. We're out there trying to share information about what's allowed, what's not allowed, and we're certainly the most visible federal agency because we're in all of these airports and we have dealings with 2 million people every day. But this is stuff that passengers need to know whether or not it's allowed, and sometimes they just don't know.
Nico, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Samia, that is kind of the latest from here at the airport. As you can see, busy days here, seizing things like that, and this clever little gardening claw. Don't really know why anybody would want to bring that on a plane, but yeah, they got their work cut out for them here. Back to you.